It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielsen, Matt Cassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
Happy Wednesday, everybody, and it is game day. Oilers and Golden Knights tonight. We'll get you ready for that. It's Two Guys and a Goalie, brought to you by our great partners at CoolBet on the Nielsen Media CoolBet Network. I will have an Oilers exclusive coming up a little bit later on today. You'll find that early this afternoon, and we've hit 2 of the last 3. So come in, cash some fun with us over at CoolBet.com. Sign up for an account today with the code 2Guys. Gage your Cass. Happy Wednesday, boys. You ready for this game tonight or what?
It's gonna be fun. Well, the Mark Stone looks a little banged up.
Back looks
Oilers
a little off.
Target his left rib.
Ooh.
One of them.
Ooh.
Or
back. Upper body. Oilers are going to target Mark Stone's upper body.
Target his upper body.
They have to. Gager, what's up, dude? How you doing?
I'm all right. A little sad news on the side. No, tonight I'll have to go to the Bend in Riverbend. We're having a little fundraiser. One of my good buddy Dave Cooper, former first round pick of the Buffalo Sabres, his colleague or buddy, one of his house burnt down in those fires in Terwilliger.
Okay, yeah,
so
yeah.
We're having a little bit of a I don't know, a fundraiser of some sorts a little bit tonight at the Bend. So if you can do anything, I don't know. I'll probably have some more information about it later. But yeah,
we'll throw it up on Twitter or whatever. We can tweet it out, buddy. Yeah.
This is your community, Edmonton. If you're in Edmonton listening, so a way to have a direct impact here on people. So yeah.
They're going to want to watch the game somewhere anyway, right? So they can swing them by the Bend. And yeah, that does. I haven't been to the Bend since my buddy got arrested years ago. I haven't been able to go back. I had a really good time, though. That was fun. So anyway, at the Bend tonight, if you want to go watch the game and help fundraise, it's tough. To these fires right now in the province, we don't spend too much time. It's nasty right now. We need some rain. We got to mix in some. I thought it was bad for me going and playing or coaching my son's baseball when it's 30 degrees out. I can't imagine having to be there fighting all those fires. So huge shout out to everybody who is trying to keep the province safe. There's no doubt about that. And pop by the Bend tonight in Terwilliger there. If you want to help raise some money for a really good cause, obviously. Look, I'm looking forward to both games tonight, but there's a lot to live up to. Let's start with Dallas Seattle, Cass, last night. Everything is Cass frozen? Yes, Cass is frozen. Gager, start with Dallas Seattle. He just reconnected. I'm like, where's Cass?
Well, what can you say? I mean, the Joe Pavelski, you go to the restaurant with this guy, he always tips. It's amazing what this guy can do.
That fourth goal was insane, right? That was the one where it's like, that wasn't a fluke. Like, he guided. That was amazing.
Well, just the whole thing, because I think Adam Larson puts his stick down, the puck deflects, and then to have the awareness to get your stick in the right place and redirect it, shelf, going back the other way. Unbelievable game by Pavel. We were talking about these Dallas fans, man. They Cass said they were kind of fair weather, but it looks like a fun place to go watch a hockey game. I mean, they're on their feet for basically the entire game. Just the amount of emotion in that. Dallas storming out, Seattle coming back. The Seattle Kraken, man, they're a really, really good and a fun team to watch. It's not just they're like sitting back playing defense. They're going after it too. And man, Grubauer seems to have found his game. He was a huge difference maker in that game. So just that game was awesome. I didn't think I was going to watch it. I was going to go do some other stuff. I ended up sitting down and watching the whole thing.
Well, you couldn't turn away with the way that game was, Cash. You could not watch that game last night.
You couldn't, and I was texting you guys my series predictions as that went on, and then Dallas jumps up early. And I'm like, yeah, I'm totally going to be right. And then Seattle took over, and I was like, oh, maybe I'm not going to be right. But yeah, it was a pretty fun game. Seattle just doesn't make many mistakes, do they? Like they just no matter what the score is or what's going on, they just do the same thing, and they just execute extremely well. That would be the Seattle. Is Seattle executes extremely well. Yeah, I mean, my father-in-law was a season ticket holder for a long time. I mean, they're in Oklahoma City, but he did a lot of work in Dallas and had season tickets there to the Stars, and so he was season ticket holder back like when they were having their cup runs, and that's kind of Texas with their hockey. We'd get great fans down in Houston all the time, unless it was like a Sunday where there's football. But it was like you'd get good crowds, and Texas fans they love their sports, and if you have a good team, that community there, like they're pretty invested in the Stars. As I said, sometimes a little bit fair weather. I mean, you're not going to get as many people if the team isn't performing or doing well. But yeah, and you hit the playoffs, you're gonna pack that barn out, and it's gonna be rowdy. It's gonna be rowdy. You're gonna have fans there, and there's a lot of the standing up. I mean, people are gonna be intense and into it, and it's fun. Makes for a fun environment. So yeah, it's a good place to watch a hockey game. I think a big hockey game. Plus here in Texas, which is awesome.
It's the camera angle too, I think, that helps too. I feel like I'm closer to the ice.
You feel like you're standing 30 rows up. Like I was gonna say, like the standing makes it feel more exciting for the viewing experience. Which I don't know if that jives for everybody that way, but that's how it is for me, Gager.
I find like that's another. Maybe we should rank them one day, Dusty. But like San Jose, terrible to watch on TV. Like you're watching that from the Hubble space station or whatever, right? Like it's just so far away. Here, like I'm almost yelling at people, sit down. I go, oh wait, I'm not there when they stand up.
They
like
can't hear me.
It feels like you're immersed in it, and it's closer. I love the angles for those Dallas Stars games.
Okay, the other game last night, Florida Panthers coming off the momentum of knocking off the Boston Bruins, having won 3 in a row to get that done. Bobrovsky, brilliant, especially late there. And we said it. I mean, if the Florida Panthers get goaltending from Bobrovsky, man, they will certainly capable of beating the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, I thought at times the Maple Leafs looked better against the Panthers than they did at all against Tampa. So it was a very interesting game one, Cass. But if you're the Florida Panthers right now, you're coming off knocking off the President Trophy winners. You know you were a great team yourself last year. You know this Toronto team has some weaknesses, I think. If you're Florida, you got to be feeling pretty good about going in and taking game one.
Oh, absolutely you do. Absolutely you do. I mean, the interesting, like with the President's Trophy, I don't know if you guys saw that, like where the team that won the President's Trophy, like lost in the first round the year they won the President's
and then
Trophy,
won the cup.
And then won the cup. And that's Florida this year. Then it's such an interesting situation because you had a team that was, we all looked on paper. We all thought Florida was going to be really good this year. And they just kind of struggled and were middling and played a little bit better towards the end of the year, end up squeaking into the playoffs. And then all of a sudden, it's like they found their game in that first round against Boston. It's like they managed to create an identity as a team and they carried it forward. And if they get goaltending, you guys are absolutely right. They're going to take Toronto to the limit here. My prediction for that was Toronto in 7. So it could go down to the wire here. And if Bobrovsky keeps doing Bobrovsky things where and we have seen at times over the course of his career where it's like he's gone ice cold, but then there's times when he's been really, really good and red hot. And it's like, if they get that, man, they have enough pieces there and they have such offensive potential where they could be challenging for a team. So I mean, the question is going to be, can the Leafs solve Bobrovsky? And if they can get to him, well, yeah, they have a good chance of winning the series. But it kind of has a similar feel. And maybe correct me if I'm wrong, guys. And we haven't seen Edmonton Vegas yet, so I guess it's kind of guessing a little bit. But it's got a similar feel to that, where you have two teams with high offensive potential that are going up against one another. And it's kind of like, okay, it's not going to be like a defensive battle, that series. It's going to be, okay, you have high-powered offense and high-powered offense, and who's going to come out on top. Not that I expect, that Panthers Leafs series to be a track meet, but it just got the potential to you see some of that offensive creativity and be quite a bit of fun.
I do think it will be a track meet. I thought we'd see 7-8 goals last night. We only saw 6, was disappointing because on at 6.5 on the over yesterday. But Gage, like we talked about the Oilers, like, and how we talked about these championship sort of teams, right? You got to be good down the middle, and you got a guy like Barkov. It's obviously going to help. You got Kachuk on your second line, not necessarily in the middle, but he's on that second line. And then they've got a couple of really good defensemen, right? Ekblad, when healthy, is excellent, and Brandon Montour had an absolutely phenomenal season. If Florida gets goaltending, they kind of check the boxes here of a team that has a championship sort of build, don't they?
I really like just after one game, and I know it's a small sample size, but the way that the Florida Panthers go about their business is something that the Leafs didn't encounter against the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Tampa Bay Lightning did a masterful job of it. I think for years, I think they just ran out of gas. The pressure that the speed of play that the Panthers play at gave a lot of problems to the Maple Leafs, especially in their own end with their forecheck, their pinching Ds. It just seemed like they were all over them. And the types of goals that the Florida Panthers scored were those low to high, short, in tight goals that it seemed like the Leafs were looking for something pretty all the time. They're trying to score those October goals. They're not getting the grinding types, and that's what you're going to have to do, especially if Bobrovsky shows any sort of, if he keeps doing what he did last night, like that one save he did on, I don't know, I think it was 4-2, but the leg save, was it Marner or something? He just reached back.
I know the save you're talking about. That was absolutely ridiculous. Yeah.
It was for the awareness to put your leg back too. Like he read the play perfectly, like, but his ability is so good where he didn't give the shooter anything, was in great position. He didn't cheat, but he still had the athleticism to get across with that left pad save. Unreal job. Shut the door. If this could mean a lot of issues, because right now the Florida Panthers are way ahead in goaltending in my mind in this series.
Have to remember that Bobrovsky won the Vezina twice. Like, he's not in his prime anymore, but if Bobrovsky can get hot, man, he could certainly get in that zone for sure. So, and they're paying him a shitload of money too. He does, right? Like, yeah,
that glove save on Nylander, like at the side, he just went boom. Like, I go, uh-oh.
You can tell, right? Like, that's when you're like, this is trouble. Yeah.
Yeah, when I did that, it meant trouble for the other
team. Hey, quickly, I just saw the goalie still. Samsonov on the third goal, that Verhaeghe breakaway goal. It kind of looked like, I don't know what he was doing there, Gager. I mean, was he trying to move and got caught in between? Like, that's not how you're supposed to try to make a save on a breakaway, I guess.
Well, he was late. He was so late. Like, he was still moving forward when
the shot came. Okay.
Yeah. It seemed like he was completely caught off guard that puck came free. And I think it was who was it? Duclair that poked it. And he just looked like, oh my God, this guy's coming in on a breakaway. I can't believe it. He was still moving forward. Great shot, but just below the glove. Yeah. I think if he's set in a good position, he makes that save. But yeah, that's one that on a breakaway, I would assume that the goalie has a better chance to save that, especially from where the shot came from.
Yeah, I thought he was caught with indecision on that.
Yeah.
Where he didn't know, do I really, really challenge this? Like, be super hyper aggressive on it to try to cut down and to force him to maybe make a mistake or try to, do who knows what. But it was like it was in between. Like, he wasn't too aggressive. And if he was too aggressive to try to make a play, okay. But he didn't set himself either. So I think it was, let's call it a classic case of indecision on that goal.
Not ideal in the postseason, I guess, but it happened last night. So, Bobrovsky, Samsonov, very interesting battle brewing there in the pipes in that series. All right, Oilers and Golden Knights tonight. Before we get to anything in the series, we'll get to the skate today. Kane didn't skate. I guess Derek Ryan wasn't there either. Have you guys come around on the golden helmets? Like, where are we at on the golden helmets for the Golden Knights? Like, I still, it's still too much for me. It's too much.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Like, I get why they're doing it, and sure, the fans there might like it, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. I'd prefer just wear black helmets. But yeah.
Looks like they got 18 different European scoring leaders on the ice. I'm very confused, right, Gager? You played over there.
They're trying to intimidate you. I don't know who to check. Yeah, they're all the leading scorer.
I couldn't believe that in Europe when I saw that when in leagues where the leading scorer had to wear like a mark. You might as well just put a bullseye on it.
Yeah.
It was just ridiculous. In Sweden, though, when you won the championship, you know how guys get the hats? They would get gold helmets. So when the championship is finalized, everyone dusts their buckets and are all wearing these golden helmets, which is it's the only time when you should wear them. It's not only safe because you're not going to fall, but then it's kind of cool, and you have some more of a keepsake that that can go in into the trophy case when you're done. But no, it's too much. I like the Kings one because it reminds me of Battlestar Galactica with the
little silver, there. Yeah, okay, a little bit different. Cass, Mark Stone's health. Biggest storyline in this series right now. I know other storylines will emerge, but when you see Stone go off straight up back, as people said, he either had to shit his pants or he's having back issues. I think with his history, it probably wasn't shitty pants. It's probably the back issues.
Well, you didn't know if he was going to come back this season at all. And obviously recovered enough to play in the playoffs and had a great first series. But if it's bugging him, he's going to get off the ice. But, I mean, you mentioned Evander Kane and Derek Ryan not on the ice for the Edmonton Oilers. It's the same thing. You know, there's going to be guys that are banged up that are like, well, maybe I'm feeling this a little bit today. It's not feeling great today. I don't need to be on the ice right now, because what are you going to accomplish by pushing through in practice? You're not. You're not. If you need time to recover, if you're banged up, you take the time to recover. So it's like, well, if his back was tightening up, even if it was just a tiny little bit, or it was enough to give him discomfort, well, yeah, he's going to get off the ice. Not something shocking to me at all. Now, for Edmonton, I mean, I know we joke about like they targeted in the back sort of thing, but I mean, you can look at that and you go, okay, here's a guy that is feeling uncomfortable. I don't think it's not like you're targeting to cross-check him in the back, but it's like, okay, here's a guy that if we can be physical on him, you know, he's not feeling great. So let's be physical on it. Let's make it difficult and not be dirty, not try to hurt him, not try to take him out of this series. But it's like, well, yeah, if a guy's banged up, hit him. You know, if you get a chance to hit him clean, that's not going to take you out of position, well, do that. You know, you don't have to Trouba him. I mean, if you get a chance to Trouba him. But like, yeah, be physical on the guy. But I mean, again, I'm not.
They were going to do that anyway, though. They know what Stone was out with all season long. Like, Stone's not healthy. Yeah, he was great against Winnipeg, but that doesn't mean you're not going to play this guy physical. No. That's priority number one. Like, yeah.
He's not playing.
Whoa.
Think so? I think no. You don't think so?
Chance. Dude, if it was just okay, it's tightening up, he's gonna skate off. He had full sway back, stick on knees, gliding to the bench, gingerly out and stepping out. His back, I know that feeling. We've probably all had that lower back when you feel it kind of, and it's almost
back.
It's terrible. It's terrible. I just think from the way he went off the ice and how he was handling himself, I do not think that we will see him tonight. I doubt it.
Freezing does magical things, so we'll see. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is, but I guess. I don't know.
I think it's an optional skate this morning for the Golden Knights as well. So I guess we won't know too much until a little bit later on. Guys, what's the biggest challenge for the Oilers? And now this is not us saying, the Golden Knights are very challenged. Like, just what's from an Oilers perspective? We're breaking this down from the Oilers perspective. The Oilers pose many challenges for the Golden Knights as well, I guess is what I'm saying. But Cass, what do you think is the biggest challenge the Golden Knights pose to the Edmonton Oilers in this series?
I mean, the Golden Knights, even without Stone, if he doesn't play, is still their offensive output. They have, Kempe had a great series. You know, Kopitar can put the puck in the net. Like, LA's got those guys. I think as a team, Vegas just has way more offensive upside to their game. And for Edmonton, it's going to be okay. Can Stuart Skinner and the Edmonton Oilers as a team play defense well enough that they're not trying to just outscore their opposition. Like they don't, well, I like Edmonton in the track meet against most teams, but can they play team defense well enough to eliminate some of the high danger chances that Vegas is going to generate? Because LA, it's like everything that LA got, you gave them. You gave them everything they got. You gave.
That's how they approach the game, right? Like they wait for you to give them something. Yeah.
Yep. And Vegas is going to generate themselves, right? Where it's like, well, maybe you do things right, and they're still going to generate some chances. So to me, that's going to be it. Like the big challenge is going to be, can you shut down Jack Eichel? Can you shut down Chandler Stevenson? Can you limit the offensive opportunity for the Vegas Golden Knights? That's going to be the challenge.
Don't you think that the Oilers? I think it's an advantage for the Oilers to. I mean, the games against the Knights have always. I found that it pretty much gone the Oilers' way, but it was because they took advantage of the mistakes that the Golden Knights made, like the transitional game that was basically not. There wasn't a lot of it in the Kings series. Like the Kings were pretty responsible with the puck, right? And then they tried to just counterpunch all the time. I think not only can the Oilers generate on their own scoring chances, but with their play looking at the latter part of the year, I think they'll be able to generate a lot more chances just with the structure that they showed, and plus the way that they played against the Kings. There's gonna be way more chances in this series, I think, to score than last for the Oilers, and that's scary for Laurent Brossoit. This is going to be a completely different series for him, looking at some of these shooters compared to what happened last series.
Both of these teams have been amazing for the last 2 months. Like since March, I think the Vegas Golden Knights have lost like 5 games. The Oilers haven't lost in regulation in forever. The Oilers were as good as you could possibly be down the stretch, couldn't catch the Golden Knights because they were playing that well as well. Gager, you mentioned Laurent Brossoit. Schwartz has worked with him. The Oilers are obviously very familiar with him from his time in the organization. I've heard people ask, I want the goalie's opinion on it because I don't know. Is that an advantage for the Oilers? Is familiarity an advantage for the Edmonton Oilers in this series with Laurent Brossoit?
No, because he wasn't here long enough. I don't think really. I don't think it's a big deal. I'm sure Dustin Schwartz has done exclusive research on every goalie that the Golden Knights have in their system, just in case one of them ends up in the net. But no, he's just been away from Edmonton way too long, different organizations, and quite frankly, Dusty, he's a different goalie now than when he left the Edmonton Oilers. He went from a goalie that struggled to even get playing time to a guy that in Winnipeg who was a serviceable backup to a guy that's now almost established himself as a starter in the NHL. So the progression of his game has been
he's 30 years old now, right? He's 30 years old now. I mean, Cass, where do you come out on that from a player's perspective on this?
Yeah, I think the advantage you get, and I think there is a little bit of one. I don't want to say it's a huge advantage, but I think the advantages you get is, you've seen pucks go by him, right? For some of the guys, not all the guys, but for some of the guys, you've seen pucks go by him. I don't think you have quite the same feel as like a Korpisalo heading into the series, where Korpisalo is like, especially with how he played earlier, you're like, oh man, we're having a tough time beating this guy. I don't think you have that same mentality going into it. So I don't think it's it's not a clear cut, let's call it, it's not like I don't know, like a traditional advantage, as it were. It's more of a, I don't think you have to fight for confidence about the puck going in early on in the series. Now, that could change in a heartbeat if Brossoit stands on his head. But some of that familiarity, knowing like, oh yeah, I've scored on this guy in practice, or oh yeah, we've seen what he can do. He used to be one of us, and we can beat him. We can beat him like that. That runs through your head from a confidence standpoint, I think, a little bit, and that could lean a slight advantage, but I don't think it's anything significant. But maybe just a little bit of a mental advantage heading into it.
It's weird because I from a Oilers fan standpoint, I feel more. I would be more worried about Jonathan Quick just because of the experience that he had and what he's done in the past, to the point where with Laurent Brossoit, if you can get to him in a game and light him up for a bit, he doesn't have anything to fall back on to really get his confidence back. Like he hasn't done this before, right? So I guess you could say the same thing for Stuart Skinner, but
yeah, you could. That's true.
I just I think I said this before. I think we're going to see all 4 goalies at some point.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to happen too. All right, game 1, guys. The Oilers have lost 6 straight game 1s, have won a number of those series. The Golden Knights have lost 4 of their last 5 game 1s. I don't want to sell game 1 short, but Cass, how much does game 1 really matter here tonight?
Well, it still really matters, guys. I know that both teams have shown that they can come back in a series, but I mean, do you really want to be down?
No, but if the Oilers lose game 1 tonight, how do you think it's viewed by people in this city?
By people in the city or by the team? Because those are two very different things.
But by the team, they'll be calm and cool about it. City will be in full-blown meltdown mode.
City will be in full-blown panic. Everyone will melt down. We'll have fights again at the brew house. Well, you probably won't. Security does a great job.
No, you probably will at some point, though. I mean, it's going to happen.
Yeah. No, it's people I think would react more to it than the organization would and the players would, as you mentioned. Like inside the dressing room, they're gonna be like, yeah, well, I mean, that was game 1. We didn't expect to beat them 4 straight anyways. So, okay, let's just move on to the next one and go in the next one. And for the Edmonton Oilers and most playoff teams, and Gager, you would have been on teams that did this. You look at the first 2 games when you're on the road, and you're like, we get a split, we're happy.
Yeah.
Like that's we go win one of the games in their building, and we come out of the first 2 games on the road 1-1. We're okay with where we are. Like we're not unhappy with that. Turn it into a best of 5. That's good. So yeah, they lose the first game, they're not going to panic. Now the city, as you said, could be and depending on how they lose, depending on how, I think that factors into it too.
That's true too.
Emotions. Because it's like if it's a close battle the whole way and they lose an OT or they lose by a goal or whatever it is, I think people freaking out a lot less. Like if Edmonton got pumped like 5-1 or 6-1 or something, then it's absolute chaos.
I love the fact that the Oilers are starting out on the road, right? Like there's absolutely no pressure to, even if something terrible happens tonight, you're still a box score at the end of the 2-minute hockey segment on ESPN, right? Like they don't even show any highlights. It's a completely different atmosphere in the U.S. compared to if they lose in Kent. It's on every single show, every radio station that they like. You can't escape it, right? So I love the fact that they're down there doing this at the start of the series. I think it allows them to just play their game, play a simple road game. And all the pressures on the Vegas Knights to hold serve right now.
Can't wait. It's going to be an excellent game tonight. We banged out a Wednesday episode. We got a bunch of stuff going on tomorrow. We got a charity event. Hockey Helps the Homeless. Who gets drafted higher on Thursday night, boys? Gager or Cass?
Let me look at the teams. I got to see who's leading the fundraising here. So give me a second.
Actually, do you know who's leading the fundraising? The Canadian Brewhouse team, which I'm on. We are in first right now. So, I mean, things can still change. But if you want to try to make a play for first overall here, boys, reach out. Let me know.
Dusty, I'm the Shohei Ohtani of alumni events. I can play goal. I'm a power forward. I can go on whatever you need.
You and can unite to be the slowest line in the entire tournament. That'd be excellent. Cass, what do you think? Project yourself right now. Where are you going to go on Thursday? What do you think?
Usually mid round. I'll be mid round.
Okay, mid round. Good expectations.
Yeah, I probably won't be at the absolute bottom. Mid to late.
Let's be honest, boys. There's a 2 guys and a goalie and a TSN 1260 bump. There just is, right? People listen. Yeah. They want to play with you guys. So, no, it should be pretty good. I think we're leading. We were leading earlier this morning, so it'll be close because this is one where you can still do fundraising. Remember, right before while we're at the thing, so people bump it up. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays.
I just want to go in front of Belzy.
Is Sandwich playing in this again?
Sandwich is in this.
Sandwich on the roster, yeah. He was hilarious last year at draft night. It was good.
Oh my gosh! At least, should be good. Well, at least you don't get traded after you're picked like some guys are.
Did that happen to some guys?
Yeah. My old Canada Life crew, I think they drafted Rossiter and then traded him.
You know what was bad? It was tough for the Alzheimer's. We had Scrivens on our team, and we just finished playing against Sean Brown. And Scrivens packed up his stuff right after. He goes, I think I have to go to the All-Star game. Okay, man, we'll see you later. Like, thanks for playing with us. And he came back to the room like 10 minutes later. He goes, I got fucking cut from the All-Star team. I'm not even on the All-Star team. So and then I go upstairs to grab a bite to eat after. Sean Brown sits down next to me. He goes, I just had 3 points. What I got to do to get in the All-Star game? I said, yeah, well, you got to grind it out a little bit longer, I guess. So, yeah, those guys will be around again at Hockey House of Homeless as well. It's a fun event. I like this event. It's nice. It's Thursday night and then Friday, and you still get your weekend, so it's good.
I was gonna say, if you look at the roster, there's a lot of meat on the roster again this year at the Hockey Helps the Homeless. Like it's a pretty heavy lineup. So it'll be fun. Big Stevie Max making the trip out. I think. So, yeah.
How is this not?
Yeah, I saw McIntyre pop up. I know. Brewhouse is a big sponsor, I think. So, but. Nothing says we can't go to Cook County after.
Location for that last year. Like I thought that
it was good.
I liked it.
Yeah, it's a good one. I think it's at the same one, right? Is that Windermere again?
No,
it's not.
It's by your house, Dusty.
Oh,
it's Lewis Estates.
Perfect. Lewis Estates.
The Lewis Estates one. Good.
Oh, that one's good too. That one's good too. Yeah, I would have been at Windermere. Thank you, Gager.
You're welcome.
I hope you're not tricking us. Yeah.
I want to go first.
Yeah, exactly. You're the only guy there. You told everybody else. That would be good. That's well played. Before we wrap up this episode, we didn't spoil any TV shows for anybody here, did we? Cass, was this somebody got coming at you on Twitter for ruining Mandalorian?
Someone was poo-pooing about ruining the ending of good TV shows, and I'm like, come on.
We give spoiler. We give time.
There was plenty
of
time, and if you hear us start to talk about it, just take your headphones out for a minute. But you know what? Sorry for ruining it. We're not trying to ruin anyone's TV experience.
I mean, it didn't get ruined. I don't think we were thinking Mando to die in the end. Like Mando survives for another season. That's not ruined.
That's not ruined at all.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah,
and he looks like Clint Eastwood in Unforgiven at the end.
We spoiled the absolute.
He does. Yeah, you're right. That was cool.
At the end of town.
Yeah. Maybe we spoiled that, but whatever. You still enjoyed it. All right, boys. So I will see you tomorrow. Enjoy the game tonight, and looking forward to Hockey Helps the Homeless, guys. We'll talk to you then.
Later.